Well, today is a day many share love for someone near and dear to their hearts. But February 14th is also a day to remember missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And local Hamilton groups and massive institutions like McMaster University took time to commemorate the crisis that hasn't slowed down. A large crowd of McMaster students walked slowly through campus, some holding roses, not for Valentine's Day, but a commemoration for the countless missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Red dresses, which have long been a symbol for the lost, lined the route by students. Many in attendance had never been to such a ceremony.
I'm learning about the magnitude of something like this. I think it's very important that we commemorate these injustices.
Having the privilege to have an Indigenous studies class and having Dr. Watts as a teacher to kind of teach us about these things that we never really learn about. So super important, and really thankful for having this time.
Others who were more aware of the epidemic were thankful the university is taking steps to address the crisis.
I just thought it was important to acknowledge that the university is on this colonial space and to acknowledge kind of some of the ongoing impacts and be aware of the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and the different ways that the crisis is acknowledged and then commemorated on campus.
Meanwhile, in a downtown Hamilton alleyway, a light post is decorated with Valentine's Day cards to share love for someone who was shown anything but almost 28 years ago to the day. 19-year-old Helen Gillings' lifeless body was found right here on February 17, 1995. Her murder is still unsolved.
Hold this event to honor her, to remember her, and all missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, trans, and two-spirit individuals.
In less than an hour's time, the post was filled with cards and even small ribbons, a sign that the community is aware that more women like Gillings are still at risk.
We've got in highest rates of domestic and sexual violence rates across Canada since 1996. And those numbers have continued to escalate here locally, and our local sexual assault centers have been seeing unprecedented rates of increased calls for support.
And according to StatsCan, more than 25% of Indigenous women experience sexual violence by an adult during their childhood, a number nearly twice as high as non-Indigenous women and much more than the 2.8% of non-Indigenous men who've experienced the same thing.